because we've got a big test on Thursday. So we'll go over this warm-up problem real quick. I'm going to pass out your reviews and probably maybe like help you on some of the problems, give you some hints on some of the problems, give you some time to work on those review problems. And in the middle of class, we might go to Canvas and do this little check for understanding kind of in the middle, and then spend the rest of the time working on the review. The test is next class. It's 2 grades. One of the topics is just over writing. So that's word problems, that's stat, from tables, that's writing from graphs. Like you'll see on the review what that kind of looks like. But word problems are something that are kind of scary to us, so we got to make sure we practice those. And then the other topic is going to be the one that actually is the solving, okay? We need to take this test this week because we need to have time next week to do retests and stuff as needed. So it's really going to be up to you. Today's Tuesday. I've got tutorials first half, power lunch. I've got morning tutorials Wednesday and Thursday. I've got power lunch tomorrow. You got to come in. If you are looking at these problems and you don't even know where to start, then topic 2 of the test is not going to go well. So we need to be in here working and making sure that we understand these concepts, okay? That's where we are. So I said this first one's on the review, so we'll talk about that later. But question, this is star. It says, what's the value of y? So we're only looking for the y, okay, to the solution of this system. What is this set up for?
Substitution.
Why?
Because I give you x.
So remember, graphing is when they're both in slope-intercept form. These are not both in slope-intercept form. Elimination is when they're both in standard form. That means x and y are on the same side. So if they look alike, you're thinking graphing or elimination. These don't look alike. I've got a y and an x on the left, and then I've got an x only. Okay? X only or y only means I want to do substitution. So I'm drawing my box, and I'm plugging in for x. Now, Cruz and I were having this conversation. There's not a coefficient on x. Well, there is, but what is it understood to be? 1. Does multiplying by 1 change anything? No. So when I do my substitution, I do not have to put this box in parentheses. Whenever it's just plus that variable, I can just do a direct substitution there. And I have a negative 2y plus 9 equals negative 59 like that. So I don't have to distribute because, again, there's just a 1, and timesing by 1 doesn't really change anything. Okay? After I distribute, though, what do I need to do? Combine my like terms. So 6y minus 2y or plus negative 2y is going to give me 4y plus 9 equals negative 59. Before I did that, though, I should have checked. Do you see the 2 things I underlined? Are they the same variable? Yes. If they are not the same variable, you did not do the substitution correctly. So they have to be the same variables so that you can combine them. Okay? 4y plus 9 equals negative 59. What do I do now? Heidi? Minus 9. That gives me 4y. Negative 59 minus 9 is what?
50.
What?
50.
No, it's negative 59. Negative 68. Did you see the negative right there? You gotta be careful with those 2 negatives. They probably put that as an answer choice, I bet. And then what do I do? Jahan, what's next? By?
8.
No, 8.
Number next to y.
I bet you did 6 plus 2, but this was a negative 2 plus negative 2, so it actually ends up being a 4. So just be careful with that, okay? And then negative 68 divided by 4. These aren't fractions, so I'm probably not going to do a fraction thing in my calculator. I'll just do negative 68 divided by 4, and that gives me negative 17. And then remember, this one only wanted the y. So am I done?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm done. I circle this and I move on. If it wanted the whole solution, would I be done?
No.
I have to go back and find x, okay? There is a test question that I think just asks you to find one of them. And it's really nice when it's the first one that you get, okay?
So a lot of times, too, like, I was talking to Heidi. She was like, she started trying to find x. After you find something, go back to the question and go, hey, what is this asking me to do? And then in this case, you're done immediately because it said find y. So, hey, I'm done. Try to get in the habit of after you finish something, go, what's the question asking me to do? It's a good test taking tip.
And just especially too because these problems
Take a while.
are a lot
Yeah.
of work.
It take a while.
And we do not want to do extra work if we do not have to. Okay? All right, everybody should have a blue, and put that to the side. Everybody should have a blue review that I just passed out.
Good one.
Okay? So I've got an answer key to this up here. I'm going to keep on my podium like I always do for you to come check. I got an answer key on Canvas. If you don't get it finished today, you know it's due on test day. Everyone got that? Miles, Brayden? Needs to be done when you get in here, not during class, remember? You get 2 days. You have 48 hours starting now, and you have class. So, yeah, and a bajillion tutorials in between. Okay? So the first topic is just about writing systems. So here are a bunch of word problems, okay? We don't love these. We got to make sure we know how to do these. I want to do 3 with you because I don't know if we've seen one like that before. But the rest, I think you guys can probably get done on your own. Okay, so circle that. We're going to come back to number 3. All right, flip over real quick. I just want to show you the other types of writing that we have on here that will be included on this test topic are our tables. What does the hint say? Okay, so these should be a really, y'all did great. We did this on the warm-up last class, and y'all did really great with that. Remember, it's stat, edit, put your tables in, and then stat, calc 4. You might want to write that down. And it does ask you for the solution, and you can get those in the graph. So number 6, second trace, 5, enter 3 times. Okay. And then the other thing that it's going to ask you to do is like number 8, and it says to write the system of equations. Here's what I would do when it wants you to write. It wants you to write in slope-intercept form. So what are the 2 things that we need to write in slope-intercept form? A slope and an intercept. So I would label my graphs. Okay, let's make the decreasing graph. Do this with me. I think it's going to help you. Nick, we're on number 8. Turn to number 8. Turn. Okay, so make the decreasing graph. We'll call that line 1. Hopefully that's what I did. So that way that matches. Yes, that is. And then the increasing graph, we're going to call line 2. Okay, but you need to find the slope and the y-intercept of each of those. If you need help doing that, today's the day to ask. Okay? Find your slope and your intercepts, and then you can match up your equations from there. All right, that's all writing. The next topic is over solving. So this is giving you a system of equations to solve graphically. Look at number 9. What form do they both need to be in if you're going to slope-intercept? Are either of these in slope-intercept? No. Okay. Do y'all want to get one of them in slope-intercept form? Let's look at that first one. This is star. I dislike it when they do that. Okay. Slope-intercept form means we have our y's by ourselves. Typically, we put y on the left-hand side. What side did they have y on that first equation right there? Is that okay if we keep it on the right-hand side, as long as we get it by itself? Okay, so we're okay with that. I'm going to rewrite it so I have more room. And they do this sometimes on star. Again, it annoys me. So if I decide I just want to put mx plus b equals y, that's still slope-intercept form. But what do I need to move away from the y first? A 6. How do I move that positive 6 over? Minus 6 on both sides. But can you take away a 6 from a 2x? So what do I do with that?
Plus 6.
No. I just write them side by side. When they're not like terms, I just do it like that. So 2x minus 6, but what is it equal to?
1.
What kind of y?
Negative.
What's understood to be there?
1.
The negative 1. You might want to write that in. So y is still not all by itself. Are you writing this down with me?
Yeah.
So what do I need to do with that negative 1 to get y by itself? What? Divide everything by... Kind of tricky, but we're good. So dividing by -1 just changes the sign. And then now it's in slope-intercept form. Even though the y is on the right. That's okay. It's alone. We got it all by itself. We can do that there. Now, you would also need to change this one, which y'all know how to do. But I will tell you, it's very common that you have to convert to slope-intercept form first. Okay? And so you can do that one there. And then you can graph them and kind of see which graph matches. There's quite a bit of multiple choice on this test. And so, I mean, they're right or they're wrong. That's how it's going to be on STAR. So you need to be able to do this work and pick the graph based off of the solution. But once you get them in y equals, you can put them in here and go look at the pictures and then also find the solution point on there. Okay? Keep flipping. Let's see what else is on here. Some more graphing, so you can have some rulers. 13 is inequalities. Remember, pay attention to your shading. Do you need help with that? We need to go over that. And then the last pages are set up for substitution and elimination type problems. Okay? So really, there's no point in me being up here working all these with you at this point. It's up to you. It's a very long review, so we may opt out of that CFU. If we don't have time. But I do want to talk about number 3 real quick, and then I'm going to just let you work, okay? And it's really going to be up to you. You got 2 of us. You got 2 of us, and you're going to have a class. So we got to figure out what we don't know, okay? All right, read number 3 to yourself on the front page. Read this story.
Number 3.
I just don't think we've seen one like this yet, so I just want to go over it real quick. Read this story, number 3. Number 3. So we need variables here. What are our variables going to represent on number 3? Okay, so can we use N for... I'm going to put the number of nickels. So that's how many of those types of coins. And then the other type of coin he has is quarters. And we did some of these. We did some money problems last time, at least set them up. This one's slightly different, but coins are very, very typical. Okay? And again, if it's a multiple choice question, they probably are going to tell you your variables, but there are some free response, so you've got to define them, okay? All right, so the first sentence says he has 24 coins made up of these 2 types. So how do I write an equation about that? He has a total of 24. We get a total from doing what? Adding. So what are the 2 types of coins that we're adding? N plus equals 24. That's kind of your, I would say, like, easy equation, okay? Just a straightforward one. Just add up the 2 types. That's how many you got. You're going to do that quite frequently. Like, number 1's got an equation like that. Number 2 does. Number 4 does. Just kind of your straightforward, this plus this equals 24. Okay, and then notice I checked off the 24. I'm done with that. Now here's what we haven't seen. He has twice as many quarters as nickels. Okay, so here's how you approach these. What comes first? What word comes first? Twice as many what?
Quarters.
So that is the variable that's going to be by itself. Are you listening? Are you listening? I hope so. Okay, so twice as many what? Quarters equals. Now, twice means we need to perform what operation? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? What? Multiplication. So we're going to multiply the other variable by 2. And then that's all you do. Just set it up. But the tricky thing is, and what confuses people, is not knowing what to start with. But it always goes back to the word that comes first. We're talking about quarters. Quarters is what equals 2.
So
Okay.
How would we solve this problem now that we've done that? We're gonna do graphing, substitution, elimination.
I want to do graphic.
It wouldn't be?
It wouldn't be, but I want to.
Okay.
Substitution.
I would use
How do we know it's substitution?
That does cute.
It says Q equals. One of the variables equals this. So that's how we know it's substitution. Alright, so you should be able to do substitution now. Awesome.
You want to try one more together? Number 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is a good one as well. Read it.
Let's work that out later. Let's do number 2.
Yeah, Ethan, don't work these on the front page because I don't even know that they work out pretty. We probably just made up random numbers. So just set them up, move on. But I want you to look at number 2. You've got plenty of solving at the end. Okay? Read the story. Number 2. I'm not going to read it to you on the test. You have to read it yourself. Pick your variables. Number 2.
I took the whole entire number 3 one in number 2 spot.
Draw an arrow.
That you do.
One of the equations is pretty straightforward. It's that other one that's a little bit tricky. Okay? Think about your variables. What do we got? Who are we talking about? What kind of students? Okay, so let's let G represent the number of girls and B represent the number of boys. Okay? Again, that first sentence, total. Total is found by adding. How do we get a total of 24? This is the easy one. How do you get 24? Total. Adding what?
G plus B.
G plus B equals
24.
add them all up. Add the number of girls, add the number of boys. That's the total number of kids in the class. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Students, students, students. Yes.
While I'm right for the next part, I said, for like, it says you have to find 3 fewer girls and
Mhm.
twice the number of boys.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I did G equals
Mm-hmm.
2B minus 3.
Perfect. How'd you do that? Who are you talking about? There are 3 fewer. What comes first?
Girls.
So girls is what's going to be by itself. Okay. Fewer than means you're subtracting. What means adding? What mean? Or more than. More than means adding. Fewer than, less than, that means subtracting. And remember, than is a switch word. So the 3 and the twice boys switches. Very good, Miles. It's perfectly correct. Okay? So since 3 comes before first in the story, we put it second in the equation. Twice the number of boys comes second, we put it first. That was tricky. That was really tricky, so good job on that. Okay? All right. I'm done talking to you. I am just now going to give you time to sit in your seat and work and try to get this done. It's really long, so we may not do that CFU because it is so long. Okay? So let's get to working.